the quiet clock shop before Christmas in the far, quiet corner of Snowberry Town, where the streets curved like ribbons and every window glowed with warm yellow light. There stood a tiny shop squeezed between a bakery and a bookshop. Its sign was old and slightly crooked, but neatly painted with gold letters. Tick and Tock, Clock Repair. Inside the shop lived a small, careful mouse named Illy, who had the softest gray fur and the steadiest paws anyone had ever seen. Illy did not make toys, bake cakes, or sew bright clothes like the other animals of Snowberry Town. He fixed time. The shop was filled from floor to ceiling with clocks of every shape and size. Tall grandfather clocks stood like quiet guards along the walls. Tiny alarm clocks sat in rows on wooden shelves. Round clocks, square clocks, golden clocks, silver clocks, all ticking together in a gentle, steady rhythm. Illy loved that sound more than anything. Each morning before sunrise, he climbed onto his favorite stool, polished the glass faces, oiled the quiet gears, and carefully wound each clock by hand. He worked slowly and carefully, because time, he believed, must never be rushed. Christmas was only 3 days away, and Snowberry Town was bursting with excitement. Outside, shop windows glittered with decorations. Snow dusted every rooftop like powdered sugar. Bells rang on every corner. Children hurried through the streets with lists and wishes tight in their paws. But inside the clock shop, everything was calm until the knocking began. It came suddenly, 3 loud knocks on the door. Illy nearly dropped his tiny screwdriver. He hurried down the workbench ladder and opened the door just a crack. Cold night air rushed in, along with sparkling snow, and standing in the doorway was the tallest, roundest figure Illy had ever seen. A red coat trimmed with white, shining black boots, a long white beard, kind eyes behind small round glasses. Illy's whiskers trembled. "Good evening," the visitor said warmly. "May I come in for just a moment?" Illy stepped aside without a word. The door closed, and the ticking of the clocks filled the room again. "I seem to be in a bit of trouble," the man said gently. "Something very important is running late." Illy looked up at him, puzzled. "Time," he whispered. The man smiled, but there was worry in his eyes. Yes, he said. Time. He reached into his coat and carefully pulled out a large golden pocket watch. Its surface was scratched, and its hands were trembling, moving forward, then freezing, then jumping again. This watch guides my entire journey, the man said. And tonight, it is breaking. Ellie gasped softly. Without this watch, Santa's travels across the world would fall out of rhythm. Deliveries would be mistimed. The magic that kept Christmas moving like a perfect melody could collapse into chaos. I can try, Ellie said quietly. He took the watch with both paws and placed it gently on his workbench. Outside, the wind picked up. Inside, every single clock in the shop slowly stopped. The ticking vanished. Time has paused, the man whispered. Ellie's heart beat loud in his chest. He could feel it. If he failed, Christmas itself might not move forward. He took a deep breath, picked up his smallest tool, and began. Ellie worked in complete silence. Even his breathing became slow and careful, as if he were afraid to disturb the delicate stillness that had frozen the world outside. The golden pocket watch lay open beneath the warm glow of a single lamp. Its tiny gears shimmered like stars trapped inside metal. This watch is older than most mountains, Santa said softly. It holds the rhythm of Christmas itself. Ellie studied the trembling hands. One moved forward, then jolted back. A second gear beside it shivered as if frightened. It's not broken, Ellie said at last. It's tired. Santa blinked. Tired. Yes, the mouse nodded. Time can grow tired when it carries too much magic without rest. Outside the shop window, snow hung frozen in the air like scattered crystals. A bird hovered mid-wing beat. A child stood with one paw lifted, stuck halfway through a step. The world was paused, but beneath the stillness, something strained. Ellie cleaned each piece slowly. He polished the gears. He softened stiff springs. He whispered to the ticking heart of the watch, encouraging it the way one might comfort a frightened friend. And then something went wrong. The watch pulsed with golden light. The shop tilted. The clocks on the walls began to spin wildly, their hands whirling in chaotic circles. Some ran fast, some ran backward, some shattered into showers of glowing seconds that vanished before touching the floor. No, 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 Ellie whispered. Santa reached forward, but space between them stretched like elastic. The room folded, time slipped, and suddenly they were no longer in the shop. They stood in a wide, frozen sky where stars moved like slow rivers. Beneath them spun the world, wrapped in clouds and snow, turning far too quickly. "Where are we?" Ellie asked. "In the stream of Christmas time," Santa said. Between moments, around them floated half-formed scenes. Children waking too early, candles melting too fast, sleigh bells ringing before night had even fallen. Christmas was unraveling. "If the watch loses its rhythm completely," Santa said quietly, "Christmas will arrive all at once and then vanish forever." Ellie clutched the watch. "But look," he said suddenly. Within the swirling chaos, a thin silver line pulsed gently, steady, calm, constant. "That's the true rhythm," Ellie whispered. He pressed both paws over the watch and closed his eyes. He remembered every quiet morning in the shop, every steady tick, every patient repair. "Slow," he whispered to time. "Steady, kind." The shaking softened, the spinning slowed, the silver rhythm grew brighter. With one final golden pulse, the world snapped back. Ellie fell against his workbench. The ticking returned. All the clocks in the shop resumed their steady song, as if nothing had happened at all. Santa stood beside him, breath slow, eyes shining. Ellie opened the watch. Its hands now moved perfectly. "You've done it," Santa said. Ellie smiled weakly. Time just needed to be reminded how to walk instead of run. But before Santa could respond, a low, distant sound rolled through the air. A deep, uneven chime. The sound of something ancient calling. Santa turned serious. "That was the North Bell," he said. "It only rings when Christmas is in danger." Ellie's ears drooped, but the watch is fixed. "Yes," Santa said, but something tried to break it. Outside, the snow began to fall again. And far beyond the clouds, something dark had begun to move. The North Bell echoed again, deeper this time, not above them. Below, Santa's sleigh dipped sharply as the sound rolled up from somewhere far beneath the clouds. Ellie clutched the golden watch as the sky opened into a swirling funnel of pale blue light. "We're being pulled," Santa said calmly. Pulled they were down through layers of drifting snow, through mist thick as milk, into a hidden valley that did not appear on any map. The The sleigh touched ground without a sound. The valley looked like winter, but something was wrong. Snow lay untouched, yet half melted. Lights glowed in windows, but no one moved inside. Decorated trees stood in rows, but their ornaments sagged as if forgotten. "It's Christmas," Ellie whispered. But unfinished, Santa answered. They stepped from the sleigh. The air was heavy, thick with tired magic. At the far end of the valley stood a towering shape made of tangled shadows and frozen motion. Inside it flickered half-built moments, children waking too early, gifts half-wrapped, bells ringing out of rhythm. "This place is caught between before and after," Santa said. "Time never fully arrives here." The creature stirred. It did not attack. It reached. A slow ripple passed through the valley. Decorations dulled. Colors faded slightly. The lights in the windows dimmed. "It feeds by delaying joy," Ellie whispered. The watch in his paws pulsed weakly. Santa raised his staff, guiding the sleigh bells gently. "Christmas is not only delivered by speed," he said. "It is carried by readiness." They moved through the silent streets. Inside houses, they saw families frozen mid-preparation. A mother paused while tying a bow. A child stuck mid-giggle. A candle flame holding perfectly still. Ellie walked to the nearest window. He pressed the watch gently against the glass. Inside, the candle flickered. 1 second passed. Then another. The family inside moved again, slowly, carefully. The shadow creature shrieked without sound. It lunged. Santa stepped between. The sleigh bells rang once, not loud, perfect. The creature recoiled as if struck. "This valley must be restarted," Santa said. "Not rushed, restarted." Ellie climbed onto the steps of the tallest frozen tower at the center of the valley. With shaking paws, he opened the watch. The silver rhythm flowed outward, not fast, not slow, balanced. Every frozen home flickered. Time dripped back into the streets like warm honey. Children resumed their steps. Ribbons tightened. Cookies finished baking. Music resumed its place in the air. The shadow thinned, losing shape as moments returned to their owners. With a sound like snow falling from branches, it collapsed into harmless dust. The valley breathed. Lights brightened. Warmth returned. Far above, the north bell rang once, clear and steady. Christmas, here at least, was whole again. Santa exhaled slowly. You gave time back to the people, he said. Ellie looked at the watch, but the silver pulse inside was weaker now. Santa's smile faded just a little. And that means, he said softly, we have less of it left for the rest of the world. The clouds above the valley began to churn again. Something larger still waited beyond the sky. The north bell rang again, slow, heavy, uneven. Santa stepped to the window. Far beyond the rooftops of Snowberry Town, the sky trembled with a deep blue shimmer, as if something enormous were stirring beneath the stars. Something is feeding on rushing time, Santa said quietly. It grows when the world moves too fast. Ellie held the golden watch tightly. Then, we must slow the world down, he whispered. Santa smiled. Exactly. Moments later, the sleigh waited in the street, its runners glowing faintly against the snow. The reindeer stamped their hooves gently, steam curling from their noses. Ellie climbed into the sleigh, his tiny paws wrapped around the watch. As they lifted into the air, the town below glittered like a bowl of frozen light. They flew beyond rooftops, beyond forests, beyond mountains wrapped in moonlight, until they reached the edge of the sky itself. There, drifting in slow spirals between the clouds, was the creature. It had no clear shape, only shadows pulled into a swirling knot. Inside it flickered stolen seconds, racing minutes, lost hours. Time it had swallowed whole. It eats hurry, Ellie whispered. The creature pulsed as the sleigh approached, growing larger, darker. Santa slowed the reindeer. Now, he said gently. Ellie opened the watch. Instead of ticking fast, the sound that rose from it was soft and deep, like a heartbeat at rest. The silver rhythm flowed outward in calm waves, spreading across the sky. The rushing seconds inside the shadow creature began to stumble. The stolen minutes fell loose, drifting free like snowflakes. The creature shrank, weakening as the rhythm slowed. Ellie lifted the watch higher. Slow, he whispered again. Steady, kind. The creature gave one final ripple and dissolved into harmless mist. The sky grew quiet. Time exhaled. Snow began to fall properly again, soft, light, real. Santa laughed, the sound warm and deep. Christmas is safe. They returned to Snowberry Town just as the first window lights began to glow for Christmas Eve. On the rooftop of the clock shop, Santa stopped the sleigh. Ellie climbed down, still trembling slightly. Santa knelt and placed a gloved hand on his tiny shoulder. "You didn't just fix a watch," he said. "You reminded the world how to move gently." He reached into his coat and pulled out a small wooden box carved with stars and gears. "For you." Inside was a tiny silver clock, no hands, no numbers, only a glowing, steady pulse at its center. "So you will always remember the true rhythm," Santa said. Ellie's eyes filled with quiet wonder. As Santa rose into the sky once more, Ellie returned to his shop. Outside, children hurried with excitement. Bells rang. Lights shimmered. But inside, the ticking remained peaceful and calm. The silver rhythm clock sat beside him as he worked. And for the very first time, the world celebrated Christmas not in a rush, but in perfect